What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Till Corner podcast with Keso and Kat. Another
Hi.
episode. Let's do it. So we're gonna kick off today talking team needs, draft, free agency. Kat, where you at on what you think the Jaguars need to improve or upgrade in 2023?
Interior pass rush. That's
Yeah.
that's like that's the big thing. We need to be able to rush the quarterback because we can't really. They weren't terrible last season, but like it was definitely an issue. Um, but then it also like I don't know. That's the main thing for me. Obviously, you hope that like Trayvon Walker takes the next step because then you have him. And I think that he did better than people are saying. I don't know. I feel like some people are kind of like acting like he had like some horrible rookie season. I don't agree with that. But interior pass rush is the big thing for me.
Yeah, and I agree there. On the interior, you have guys like Devon Hamilton, who was actually pretty good this year. Great run stuffer, but I don't know if he really has the motor to be a true interior pass rusher on third down. So I
Yeah.
think you definitely need someone that can play, nose or between the center and the guard. Folu Fatukasi didn't really get it done for me on the interior. Roy had his flashes, but in the 3-4, that wasn't it. Those guys didn't get the job done. So yeah, I
No.
can definitely see the five techniques getting upgraded. Depending on what happens in free agency, I think they could potentially cut Roy as a cap casualty. We'll see. Probably
Yeah, we'll
unlikely
see.
at this point. Um, yeah, Edge in the 3-4. Josh Allen, had a pretty good year. Top 10 in pressures and a bunch of other metrics. Trayvon, 3.5 sacks. Rookie year, he's going to grow, he's going to develop, he's only going to get better. The
Exactly.
rotational guys, Arden Key. We'll see if he comes back. Came here on a
Really
one
hope
year
so.
deal. Yeah, I hope so too.
You know I
If
like
not,
Carnegie.
yeah. If not, he's going to get paid somewhere else. I think another team, one of these pass rush hungry teams, will probably have him as a starter, honestly. 2 years of productive pass rush seasons. He had a lot of good rushes that opened things up for other people to get sacks. So Smoot towards Achilles,
I was
free
so upsetting.
agency.
That was so upsetting because he was like really having just a fantastic season and then he had that injury. So
Yeah. Smoot
definitely
was one of the best edge rushers on the team this year until he got hurt. Like he was balling. He was about every good as bit of Josh Allen in a lot of games, if not better. So
yep.
definitely want to see what happens there. Slot corner, Trey Herndon. I'm sorry. It's time. It's time, Trey. You undrafted guy. Look, you played what, 4 or 5 years in the league, all for the Jaguars. Hey man, you got your money. Good job, but I
No.
don't know if another team's going to grab you with the way you. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's an okay cover guy on the inside, but he just got dominated in some games. It was pretty bad, especially outside when they tried the whole him and Darius in opposite roles. That didn't go well at all.
No.
And running back too, Jermichael Hasty set to be a free agent. Do you bring Hasty back? He was serviceable,
No.
especially late down the stretch where ETN kept getting hurt and nicked up in games, and you wouldn't ever see the guy on the field in the fourth quarter. So it was like RB2 is definitely a need to get upgraded. A lot of talks this week on 1010XL about Bijan Robinson being the first round pick for the Jags. I don't know if you take a RB2 in the first round with all these other needs, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Speaking of needs, who are some draft crushes that you have? Who do you like in the draft?
So I have a couple. I have like four people that
Okay.
I like. Um, so obviously, I like Osiris Torrance from Florida. I
Hmm.
like him a lot. I think he's going to be a really, really good lineman in the NFL. I don't think he makes it to 24.
Hmm.
So that's probably not going to happen. Brian Branch from Alabama, I really like. And the other two are tight ends, actually three.
Okay.
So Michael Meyer from Notre Dame, Dalton Kincaid from Utah,
Hmm.
and Davis Allen from Clemson. Only
Oh,
reason
okay.
why, yeah, only reason why I have tight ends is I want us to keep Evan Ingram. That's
Hmm.
what I would prefer, but this is a pretty like good tight end draft, and there's a part of me that thinks maybe that won't happen when they can easily get one in the draft. But I would like Evan Ingram to stay. That's what I would prefer. But
Sign Evan Ingram, pay that man his money.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, so for me, looking at the draft, love Osiris Torrance. I think he'll be probably the day one starter at left guard over Ben Barch. Love Big Ben.
Yep.
You know, he played well last year before he got injured, but I think Smoothie Boy would definitely fall down the depth chart there. Devin Witherspoon is a dog at corner. A lot of people have him at CB1. He played inside and outside there. I think he would come in here immediately start in the slot, and then when it's time for Darius to go, I think he goes outside and he's a legitimate outside corner.
Yeah.
Uh NC from Pitt, interior D line. Really more like a one technique. He's pretty heavy, but he's only 6 foot tall. So you don't see a lot of guys barely scratching 6 foot on the interior NFL, but the guy has elite quickness, elite pass rush moves. Um, I think he's going to be there. I don't know. He's a late first round, second round guy. I'm not sure if he's there in the back half of the second round we pick, but we'll see. JSN from Ohio State. This guy had a monster 2021, and before that, he was already emerging. Uh, the best stats on that team, you know, in 2021 over guys like Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. He was, quite frankly, he was more productive than those guys at 2021 season. So those guys are all offensive rookie of the year candidates, and this guy is now he was unanimously wide receiver one before the season. Now he, you know, had the hamstring issue, so people are saying this guy's a second round pick. Some people have him as wide receiver one still. So if he's there at 24, pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And then Brian Breesy is the last guy on my list. Clemson interior pass rusher. Call him Baby Hulk. I mean, the guy just collapses pockets. I mean, he's just an animal up front. You just line him up in front of a guard, you know, between the guard and the center, and just let him wreak havoc. So those are my draft crushes.
I like it.
Uh, Season expectations. What do you expect from the Jags in 2023?
Oh, I expect big things, which is like really uh, I have like such PTSD from 2018. And I'm like, I have to like keep reminding myself that this is like a new team and different coaching. And there's so many like different factors. And the fact that 2018 wasn't sustainable with like the defense and all of that. And I have to keep like reminding myself of that because I'm just like, oh God, what if it's 27, like 2018 all over again? And they just crash and burn. So I would like that not to happen. I have them going 12-5,
Okay.
winning the AFC South. I think we talked about this in the first episode, but winning the AFC South, in my opinion, is they have to do it. Anything less than that is unacceptable, especially with how the AFC South is going to be next year. There's really no reason why we shouldn't be winning it. And I would like them to at least make it to the divisional round of the playoffs. Um, I would like us to go to the Super Bowl. That would be great next year. But the divisional round is like my if we don't get to the divisional round next year in the playoffs, I'll probably be upset. Well, no, that's not true. I will be upset. But I have my predictions of who I think, we're gonna win and lose against. So um
Okay.
I think the 5 games we're going to lose is going to be the Titans away and the Colts away. I don't think we sweep the Titans again, although I would love to because I love sweeping the Titans. That's my favorite thing. And losing to the Bengals and San Francisco at home, as well as there's another one, Steelers. I have us losing to the Steelers as well. But I would like us to beat the Steelers. I don't know. The Steelers is a hard one because I feel like we always play them really well. Like we always match up pretty well against the Steelers. So that could easily also be a win. But then I have all the other games a win. The Colts always play terrible in Jacksonville. So
Mhm.
I always just kind of assume that's a W for us. I think we can beat the Ravens, Panthers, Falcons, the Bills. We usually almost, I don't know, that's another team I feel like we just match up well against and usually
Yeah,
beat
we
them.
always beat the Bills somehow.
Yeah. So that's what I have for them at the moment. I would like for us to beat KC at home. Um, that's obviously going to be a super hard game. I don't want that game to be reminiscent of the like New England game in 2018 where it kind of
Hmm.
felt like the team only cared about beating the Patriots and then like they just fell apart after that. We
Hmm.
don't want that. I don't want that. I would love to beat them, but Patrick Mahomes is freaking amazing, which is annoying.
Kermit the Frog.
So,
Kermit.
but I think we can beat them at home.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think AFC South champions is the lowest bar that has to be reached. Show them your shirt, by the way. You have on that Conquer shirt
Oh yeah.
from us winning the AFC South. And then yeah, as far as the schedule prediction, um the home games, Titans W, Colts W, Houston, that's a sweep going both ways. Ravens, I think we beat. It's a lot going on there. Let's see if Lamar is even their quarterback next year.
Yeah,
Bengals, I have us losing two at home just because that team is legit. They're rolling. They're one of the top three teams in the NFL. Panthers is W. We don't even know, first year of a new coaching staff, Frank Reich, who's their quarterback. It's a lot of talks if it's going to be a rookie. So we'll
exactly.
see. I have that as a W. Chiefs at home, I have as a L. And then 49ers at home, I have as a W. Just because is Jimmy G coming back? Supposedly not. Is it Trey Lance? Is it Brock Purdy? Not really scared of either one of those guys. I think our offensive firepower is going to be a lot better next year. So, yeah, I have that as a W. Away games, the Titans and Colts. I have one of those going down as an L. Not sure which one are interchangeable. So one of those are L just because, the way the NFL works in parity. Houston, I got to sweep in. I think we beat the Browns in Cleveland.
Yep.
Saints, I think we beat them. Who's their quarterback next year? It's a lot of talks whether it's going to be Baker, Carr. Yeah, not worried.
Mm-mm.
Tampa is a W. They have no quarterback. No, don't have the draft capital to go up and get one. So they're going to sign one of these retread bridge guys. And yeah, not scared of Tampa. Steelers, I
Mm-mm.
have us beating them. Kenny Pickett's still developing. Let's see what he can do in year two. Their defense isn't as scary as it normally is. So yeah, I have us beating them. And Bills in Buffalo. I think that one's a tough one. I think that's an L2. So I have 4 L's going down. So we'll see how it goes. And then we'll come back with another, season prediction as we get through draft and free agency to see how the roster finally shapes out.
For sure. I think we're pretty even though. Um, Another thing I would really like, it's hard with the Chiefs and the AFC, obviously, but I would love
Mm-hmm.
for us to eventually have like home field advantage, be like number one seed for like the division.
Yes.
That I would like a lot. Tired of the AFC Championship game running through Kansas City,
Yeah, the Arrowhead Invitational. Yeah, that's annoying.
basically.
Yeah, we need to get out of that stage. I mean, it's hard, right?
It is.
Those guys have been there years in a row now in their place. So yeah, that's definitely a tough one. But I mean, we saw that the Titans, had the one seat 2 years ago. So
That's true.
it's possible. The
It
AFC
is.
South, yeah, the AFC South just had it 2 years ago. Coach of the year snub,
Ugh.
NFL honors. Come on, man.
Eh.
What are your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts on it are I wasn't surprised. Um, I did think that Dable was going to get the coach of the year because it's the New York market. And I'm just kind of used to Jacksonville getting snubbed and stuff like that, especially in regards to the NFL. Um, I don't know. It feels like if you're on certain teams, especially like the Jags, as like a player, coach, you just don't get the same respect that other coaches do. And
Mm-hmm.
then we're in the smaller market. So I thought Dable would get it. However, the fact that he wasn't even the runner up,
Yeah.
that pissed me off. That really pissed me off because I think I just kind of like assumed like, oh, well, it'll be Dable and then Doug. That'll be how the votes go. He only got 5 votes.
Yeah.
What? That's ridiculous. That that ticks me off like a lot. I was like, okay. And I think it also just kind of irritates me because people will give you that like really stupid argument of, oh, well, Dable had to deal with Danny Dimes and, like Daniel Jones, and he didn't have anyone to work with. Whereas, you had Doug Peterson who's walking into the building that Trevor Lawrence is in. It's like, but that shouldn't affect you voting for him because at the end of the day he still took a hot mess. I mean, like what Urban Meyer did here was just a
A
disaster.
crime, a crime.
Exactly. It was a crime and just so bad. And he turned that around so quickly. Like, and I don't like how overlooked that was. That bothered me.
Yeah, so for me, definitely a snub. I think, Brian Dayball did a great job. A lot of arguments there, about what happened with the voting. A lot of people say that Brian Dayball, had that record, got those guys there with no really upgrades in free agency versus the Jags went out, got Christian Kirk and all those other
Yeah.
guys, spent the most guaranteed money in NFL history during the free agency period. I could see all of those arguments. I get it. The Jaguars did get a lot of upgrades going into the year. Cool. Yeah, it wasn't the same team that Urban had, essentially. Cool. Urban also alluded to that in the interview, but fuck Urban Meyer or whatever.
No, for real.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, those aren't the same players that I had there." Like, Urban, shut up. You wouldn't have did shit with these same players, dude. You just sucked at this level. But yeah, I think being the first coach to take a team from worst to first in the division and win a playoff game can't be overlooked. I mean, that's never been done in NFL history. Doug P's the first one to do it. I do think it was an interesting comment that you said about players historically not getting that respect here. We saw that with guys like Jimmy Smith and Fred Taylor, a lot of those guys. We're still seeing it with Fred Taylor today in Hall of Fame voting. But for
Yep.
some reason, Trevor Lawrence is getting the respects he deserves, or the
Yes.
respect he deserves. Like, everyone is loving Trevor Lawrence now. Like, you saw him in the Pro Bowl. You saw him, Diggs, him throwing to Diggs in the Pro Bowl best catch, contest and things like that. You saw Jalen Ramsey going out his way to link up with Trevor Lawrence. You see all these NFL superstars and teams and coaches, and now even the big media is loving Trevor Lawrence. You got guys like Nick Wright and all these other people that are Trevor Lawrence stands, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Never seen that about a Jaguars quarterback ever. Ever. Okay. So I think it's interesting. Doug Peterson, he did get some love on national media shows this year. Kay Adams, love Doug's Peter. Like, he got some respect out there with ESPN, NFL Network, and those kind of things. But player wise, Twitter wise, like, I didn't really see a lot of Doug Peterson love and hype outside of the building. In the building, all the players love Dougie P. They rave Dougie P. You saw him squilling, hugging Josh Allen and all those kind of things. Like, Doug P's the guy in Jacksonville. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things like you alluded to. He just got overlooked. Will he use it as fuel to the fire? I don't think Doug's that kind of person. I don't think Doug really cared about winning it anyways. They kind of alluded to that interviewing him after the last playoff game. Doug didn't really care about that. So I think there's no sort off his back. He's ready. He's just ready to go. And then Trevor Lawrence wrote a letter to Jacksonville from the Player Tribune article. Good read. What were your thoughts on that?
I really enjoyed it. I think he really understands the fan base really well. And I really like that this group of guys got to experience how the city is when the Jaguars are good because Jacksonville loves that team and
Yes.
like wants them to succeed so bad. And when the Jaguars play well and win games and are in the playoffs, the city just has this like electricity. Like, it's just like you can feel it everywhere you go. Like, everyone's excited. And I'm really happy they got to experience that. I think that he's just really mature for his age and just really handled that really well. And I really think he's going to win a ring for the Jags, and I'm really excited for that. And I really like Trevor. I like him a lot. Obviously, he's a great player, but I also just think that just he's everything you want your franchise quarterback to be. You know, so I really liked it. It was just well thought out, really important. I like the like Publix plug. Like he
Shout
gets
out
it.
to
So
Publix. Yeah.
yeah, I love Publix. I miss it so much.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting read too, like you said. Yeah, definitely the public shout out. But yeah, just the way the city comes to life when the Jaguars start winning. We saw it in 2017 when Seattle came to town where they had a player trying to get in the stands and we had to, hold it down. So yeah, the city definitely loves the Jaguars. We'll protect them, show out for them. I did see on Twitter that people talking about the season ticket prices skyrocketed up like 23 to 25% for some certain seats. So, all right now, Mark Lampin, calm down. But
Yeah, but if you
yeah,
win, those prices are gonna go up.
yeah, they do. But I'm like 25%. Goodness gracious. Now hold on.
Yeah.
Y'all better are y'all still doing those stadium upgrades, or we still gonna have to sit out there in that heat for the 1 o'clock games? Let's not get too carried away. But yeah, and the last thing I kind of want to mention is the Chad Hall being hired as the wide receiver coach. It's a lateral move from the Buffalo Bills, but this guy was raved about.
Yep.
Um, Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver one there, loved this guy. He said on multiple different interviews over the years, like, oh, I don't know what I would do without my old Chad here and all those kind of things. So the guy's a former player. He
Yep.
spent some time in Jacksonville as a former player during the camp a couple years ago. I think Chad Hall definitely gets the wide receiver room to where it needs to go. Any thoughts on Chad?
Nope, pretty much exact same as you. I was really excited when I heard that they hired him. I thought it was a really good hire for the same reasons. Um, I know like Stephon Diggs has talked so much about how he loves him, and it's just really good, really great hire in my opinion. Really excited to see what he does with that wide receiver room, especially now that today is the day that Calvin Ridley was finally able to apply to be reinstated. So that's exciting. Hopefully, we hear about the something soon-ish. I know it's probably not going to be till like March, but I was really excited to hear that he like immediately applied for it. It was like, that's right. So what it'll be cool to see like him work with Ridley, assuming that he
Mm-hmm.
gets the okay to play again.
Mm-hmm.
But Ridley, Kirk, Zay, Agnew, even though he's more like you know, special return. That's more where I want him.
Yeah,
Is
gadget
special.
guy,
Yeah,
return guy. Yeah, one to
yeah,
two plays a game. I don't even. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm not even gonna
But
take away. I'm not even gonna take away the Chad Hall shine. Speaking about Agnew right now, because I know
yeah,
I'm gonna get
yeah,
the
yeah. We don't know like
pitchforks.
that.
Yeah, the Calvin really thing's interesting. I didn't think he was going to apply day one. A lot of players normally don't. They're still working on getting some paperwork and all the different requirements, putting the pen, the paper in the packet, and those kind of things before they get it sent off to the league office. But everything was ready to go. So
Yep.
shout out to Calvin really for having all his affairs in order. I'm sure he probably had to do community service and all these different check marks. So shout out to him for having all that paperwork organized. Him and his team, his management team, they were ready to go. They fired it off.
Yep.
You saw guys tweet about it today. You saw Christian Kirk tweet about it. You saw Agnew tweet about it last week. Trevor spoke about it last week in an interview. So guys are ready for him to come. I mean,
Yep.
the guy's a wide receiver one. He's
Oh,
a top five
100%.
route runner. He's a top five route runner. He's a deep threat that the Jaguars are desperately needing. I
For
mean, this
real.
guy at his best average, he's a 15-yard a catch guy, like 15 yards per catch all season guy. He's an animal. Don't know the volume of catches that he'll get with Kirk and Zay and all those other guys here. I think he'll probably come in somewhere around 80 catches. I don't think
Yeah.
he'll be a 100 catch guy here, like he was in Atlanta where he caught over 100 balls. But yeah, it's going up. I think him and Kirk will definitely be, more those intermediate guys in the red zone to catch a lot of touchdowns. Evan Ingram too, if he's back. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited to see what Chad Hall can do with the pass catchers.
Same.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tapping into another episode. Like, subscribe, share, show us love on Twitter at Till Corner Pod. We appreciate it. Love y'all.